Oh, damn. It's a little high for that, don't you think? Alright. Happy New Year. You already know we're starting the year off right. And we're not a better way to do this by hitting some titties. Of course, starting off with incline. 12 by 3 here. So, yeah, again. Oh. Get ready for a long ride. Oh, that was a long ride of a sneeze. My goodness. Oh. But yeah, 12 by 3 here. Again, we see how we do. My goal is to work up to 255, 265. That's the goal. We'll see how things go, progress as we're doing these sets here. Oh, man, that sneeze. Woo. But yeah, hopefully y'all are kicking the year off with a bang, whether it comes to workout, whether it's you dialing your nutrition, or whether like you focus on some other aspect of your life. Hopefully you're starting off with a bang. Oh, I know I am for sure, again with a workout. I also too kind of slept in a little bit till like 6:30. Normally I wake up at 5. But I didn't go to bed till like midnight last night. And no, I wasn't out. I was just chilling, pretty much with my boy. We're just having conversations. Things that time went past. You don't need these. Oh. Also last night, had a good meal, so feeling good so far. Had 2 pieces of steak, 1 New York strip. The other one was round eye. So pretty much between those two, it was like 2 pounds of steak. And then I had like a big ass potato. I'd probably say like this long. Big potato, put some Greek yogurt on it. That shit was good. And surprising too, I'm kind of surprised and amazed that my body didn't really respond negatively to the Greek yogurt. They respond to the point where it was like I was bloated or I felt like, you know, a different type of way and things like that, or flame. So I was very happy with the response because I haven't had Greek yogurt in a while. And like I said before, sometimes they like either Greek yogurt or like dairy ice cream messes me up. But honestly, with this one, it did not. But again, I'm not going to have it every single day. I'll eventually use that. I'll probably have it once a week just to use it up so it doesn't go to waste. But I was honestly like, I didn't know what the consequences were because like going into it, I was like, man, I don't know how this is going to feel. But it actually turned out to be okay. I wasn't complaining. I wasn't tripping about it. So that was good. And then it had some Caesar salad with it. Again, I'm not much of a salad person, but every now and then I can always kill for a salad. And my go-to salad is Caesar. It's always been my thing. Ever since I went to college, Caesar salad was the way to go. All right, that was the third set. We'll go 5 here. Actually, do I have another 2.5? I do. We'll go 15. 240. Well, let's talk about the new year, right? I'm sure y'all are saying this is gonna be a year, or like this year you're gonna start making things different. I was like, if you are gonna keep doing the same things you do when we're 24, it's not gonna be in a year. You're just gonna keep applying the same negative habits you did you know, 22, 23, 24, into going this year, of course, in the year of 25, right? So it's like you gotta really think of it different ways. Like you really try and make a difference for this year. If you're really trying to lose those, you know, probably 20 pounds. If you just want to fit back into, you know, you got weddings coming up, you know, events coming around the summertime. We'll get ready for that. It's like you gotta dial in a little bit more now. You gotta figure out what habits you've been doing that's been setting you back from achieving that, you know, desired outcome, right? You gotta figure out like what you need to do to break those old beliefs, those old habits, and allow yourself to become the new person, become that different person going into this new year, right? And it all kind of starts, so like, mostly it starts by just reflecting on yourself, right? You reflect on the year. A lot of people, you know, let's say don't tend to reflect on what the year has taught them and what the year has brought them, right? So I advise you to start by reflecting. Goals like what you've been doing, right? You've been always like going out to eat 3 or 4 times a week. You know, you always been going like not working out as consistent as you like to. You know, you're not been on point with your nutrition. You skipping meals. You know, you're forcing yourself to restrict yourself, or you're forcing yourself to eat less. You know, you do more cardio than strength training. So it's like you gotta reflect, and the easier way to reflect on all those things is like, again, the 6 principles, right? Cool. It's like knowing the foods, right? Like, do you know the foods that are kind of working well with your body and that don't work well with your body, right? Are you making sure you're intaking and tracking the amount of protein, calories you need for your body to have the daily caloric intake every day, right? Are you also making sure you're consistent in the gym, right? You train hard as fuck for like the 2, 3, 4, how many times a week you go to the gym? Are you making sure you're getting your 10,000 steps? Again, that's your form of cardio, right? Again, if you're a person that has to go on a treadmill and just acquire that, hey, by all means, go ahead and do so. But if you got that opportunity, you got the freedom to, you know, go outside, take a walk, get you 10,000 steps, I highly recommend do it that way. And then are you making sure you're getting the proper hydration, right? Are you making sure you're getting half your body weight ounces of water? And not just getting water too, are you making sure you're getting your electrolytes? You're getting your sodium, right? Your potassium, all the electrolytes you need to keep your body, you know, function, keep your body hydrated, right? And then are you making sure you're getting the proper amount of sleep? You make sure you're getting 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep, right? And are you making sure you're reducing stress? You know, having that stress management, find different ways, tactics to cope with that stress that you have on such a high level, right? If you can like reflect on all those 6 principles, then it leads into breaking this phenomenon of being in a calorie deficit, right? And that should be like the goal for you for this year, is to break the belief and break this phenomenon of being in a calorie deficit. So to break that, again, applies to the 6 principles, right? So you gotta reflect on the 6 principles to break that belief of the phenomenon of the calorie deficit. So for you to do so, and for you to look forward into 2025, right, is for you to keep doing the 6 principles, but when you go to events, or when you go to social gatherings, right, you don't have to worry, and you don't have to feel some type of way about that moment, because you already have a plan, you already have a structure, you already have all those principles in place, so you're allowed to enjoy yourself, and you're allowed to, the next day, feel the same way that you were going into it, and even better or same afterwards, because you already know you have a plan in place, and you know that plan is working. This is at 6, right? Yeah. Shit, I gotta write this down of this. We're going up again. We'll go up 10 pounds. We're up to, what is it, 240 right here? We'll go 250. I ain't gonna lie to you. After that sneeze, it fucking fucked up my nostrils. Made it so cloggy. We're halfway there. This time, we'll give ourselves a little bit more rest now. Again, we're gonna give ourselves about 2 minutes here. So, again, we're trying to get the most out of it, with these mini sets, but also the most out for hypertrophy. But yeah, this is one way to go. It's like, I mean, you always question, like, you always wonder, like, how I'm able to eat this much food and, like, only gain like 1 pound or 2 after the entire indulgence on the weekend. It's like, well, one, I build myself over time, right? What you're seeing right now has been like 4+ years of me building up to that moment of consuming that amount of calories in one sitting, right? 2 is because I have a plan and I have a structure way of going about, leading up to that moment of the challenge, doing the challenge, and post-challenge too, and things like that. So I know how to navigate, I know how to go about things when I'm consuming my type of indulgence of those food challenges, right? So when you see me do these and you see me only gain like 2 pounds, again, I abide to the 6 principles that I follow and I preach. And at the same time, I don't have to necessarily put myself in a deficit to go about, right? I mean, if you really think about it, like, let's say you take an off day, right? And let's say, okay, so let's just say for my example, right? I'm eating 4,000 calories, right? And I eat 4,000 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because that's my higher days and that's what I need for my workouts, right? Let's go on Thursday. Thursday is my rest day. So Thursday, I'm already kind of putting myself in a small deficit because I'm going back, I'm dropping it down to like 3,700, right? Because again, I don't need that much carbs on my rest day because again, I'm not utilizing it. So there's no point in me having extra calories that I'm not going to utilize. So it's like I'm already kind of technically putting myself in a deficit anyways without really seeing myself as in a deficit, right? So when it just comes into it, it's like, again, deficit is just a tool. So when you're trying to, when you have a structure, when you have a plan, as you're not really looking at it as a tool anymore, it's like, cool. It's like, you eat this amount of calories for these days, whenever you work out, you eat this amount of calories on your rest day, and that's it. So it's like, if I drop my calories, 300 for Saturday, for Thursday and Sunday, again, that's my rest day, I would get 600 calories worth extra room to intake, depending on what I want to do, right? So let's say, for instance, like, and give you an example of like me leading up to the food challenge, and depending on what time, let's say if I had the food challenge at 5, right? All right, cool. I maybe just have my big breakfast, again, my 4 eggs, my 7 ounces rice, and 3.5 ounces of ground beef, right? That's my pre-workout meal. I'll have that, I'll go work out, and then I may have my post-workout, which again is a protein shake, a couple blueberries, pineapples, mangoes, and banana, right? What's up too with that? So I do that, okay? And let's say it's like probably 10 o'clock, right? So now it's like, I got about like 7 hours before I have my meal, right? So what I might do is like, I may have one more meal. And that meal might be just my egg whites. And I might reduce my oats because I've been doing like 105 grams on a regular day. I might reduce that by like half, right? So I might go like 50 grams of oats. And then I might go like half of the peanut butter. And then I'll go, you know, half a cup of blueberries, right? So that's kind of like my meal two in the sense of what I talked about on Monday, right? So I'll do that. And let's say, you know, breakfast one is about 1,100 calories. Post-workout, let's say it's roughly around, let's just say like 400 calories, right? And then meal two, let's just say it's another, let's just say like 500 or 600 calories, right? So in total, I already have like 2,000 calories, right? Now, of course, like I'm already in deficit right now of 2,000 extra calories going into the food challenge plus additional 600. So if I do the food challenge, and let's say if I do again consume something that's worth the 6,000 calories, yeah, I am going to be over the amount of my caloric intake, but it's not going to be as much because again, I store some left over from my rest days, and on top of that, I have additional room leading up to the food challenge that I will kind of indulge myself, but at the same time, I don't go strictly way over my caloric intake. Then I would tend to, if I stay at 4,000, then do a food challenge that's like 6,000, right? So that's how you can look at it. And you look at it through that the entire week, right? You're not looking at it just for that one day. You're looking at the time of the expansion of the week, and then over time, you're looking at the time expansion of the month, right? So it's like that one day is not going to jeopardize, it's not going to dictate on like how your progress is going to be, right? All right, last 3 sets here. So we got 250. Fuck it, let's go 260. Try and work out to, well, I had 275 for reps. So working myself back up there. And the way I've been going off is 300 because that's what I had for one time. But I'm trying to get up to 275 for reps again. Now let's talk about like the post challenge, right? It's like cool. So I ate like, you know, let's just say out of the 6,000 to 2,600, like I ate an additional like 3,400, 2,400 calories, right? All right. The next day following that, you know, let's say if I do that on Sunday, right? The next day following that is I cut my calories back on that day again, right? So I cut it back, you know, again, 300 to 500 calories. So in a sense, I'm still kind of putting myself in deficit, but again, I'm not looking at that because I'm just like taking back a little bit. Because again, like the amount of extra calories I had the day before, as I don't need the same amount the next day, right? Because I know I got some left over, I got some left in the storage thing, so it's going to carry over. So I know I don't like, especially when it comes to carbohydrates, I don't need as many carbohydrates because again, if I consume like a good amount, just the food challenge just from the carbs, I don't need to have the same amount with my meal because I've got some left in the storage tank, right? So that's how I kind of utilize it. This is how I kind of see the picture of like, cool, if I have a big food challenge, then the next day I won't have the same amount of carbs as I need to, because again, one, I'll let my body give myself a break from that challenge, right? The inflammation, the bloating, the salt, all those things like that, right? The water rate. Oh, my nose is stuffed. Two, as again, since I know I have storage left in the tank, I can use that type of energy source for the following day, and then I'll just use whatever carbs I have remainder to kind of refuel the depletion, the glycogen of that workout back into it, right? And then that next day afterwards, I'll go back to my regular plan, and that's how I kind of been known, because again, I've been saying like my body responds well within between 24 to 48 hours, right? We got 2 more sets here. So it's like you also got to figure out how long your body takes to respond when it comes to like, you know, you indulge in moderation of your fun foods, right? For most of y'all, it might take 48 to 72 hours, and then you're good to go. Again, like for me, just with my, like, I'm blessed with my body, the way my body like pushes things, you know, my metabolism being so high, you know, it's able to push everything out within 24, 48 hours. But it's like, you also got to figure out how your body response is. Now again, if you're a person that doesn't have a plan in place, that you're a person that hasn't been tracking, hasn't been logging on like things that's working, things that's not working, everything I've been saying right now, it's not going to work for you in a sense, because you're going to try doing this way and you're going to get more than it's like, you look at it as like, well, I heard from this person and this person said I should do X, Y, and Z, but it's not working. Well, it's like, yeah, the reason it's not working is because even though, like, yes, I did say it, but like, you fucking haven't been doing the 6 principles leading up to that position, right? You haven't been tracking, you haven't been logging, you haven't been figuring out like what's working, what's not. So of course, yeah, that's not gonna work out for you, because you're just, again, going to the same mindset, going into the same position in the same spot of just like trying something new that, again, you haven't built yourself up over it, and it's gonna put yourself in a worse position than you were before. So again, if you want, like, again, going back to breaking that belief of the phenomenon of a calorie deficit by learning the 6 principles, so you can acquire, so you can attain, that you can then lean all year round. And when you go to events, you don't have to put yourself in stress. You don't have to put yourself in this guilt mode of like you have to get yourself ready, because you're already ready and you can enjoy that week of fun foods, activities, all that jazz, right? Ooh, we got one more here. But I'm telling you, like, once you, like, your life would be so much better when you just kind of master the 6 principles. Because one, it really honestly takes no effort, because you just draw yourself a list of the healthy foods you like. You draw yourself a list of all the processed junk food you like. Then it's like, once you've done that, and once you know the response that does well with your body, then you move on to the next step. Again, you check how much protein you need on a daily basis. Again, you aim at least 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of lean body weight, right? So again, if your person's 200, you want to weigh 180, have 180 grams, right? So let's say that takes you about 2 or 3 weeks to be consistent with it, right? Cool, you understand how much protein you need. Now we work on the calories. Now to start, you gotta figure out what your true maintenance calories is to make sure your body needs exactly that amount on a daily basis based on the activity level, based on your workouts, based on how many steps you get, based on what your body just needs to survive. That all takes into measurements of that as well. So you gotta figure out that, right? Cool. You keep yourself about like 2 or 3 months, right? Because the reason is you gotta train your body to consume that amount of food, but also too, with that, you gotta have a purpose. Like, one, you're building your metabolic health back up again. Two, this is gonna be working in the long term because this is gonna help speed up your metabolism, and it's gonna help you eat more food, and it's gonna help you lose weight more easier by training your body to eat more food, and also to restore that metabolic health. All right, last set here. Whew. Woo. All right, that's it for the ride here. On the plate load chest press. All right, we got 5 sets of 12 here. This is cool. Also too is again, you might look at let's just say I've been telling you I eat 4,000 calories. Now, no, in your process, in your mind, you're thinking that's a lot of food. Again, to you, yes it is, right? And for you too is be a person, again, let's say you've been eating 1,400 calories. And let's say your true maintenance is 2,600, right? Again, that perspective is going to tell you, yeah, that's a lot of food. But again, just like anything else, when you when you came in the gym, right? When you first started working out, when you started learning how to squat, how to do a movement, you just did either free weight, or you just did body weight, or you did with some type of weight, right? And then over time, you slowly progress the reps, and you slowly progress the weight. It's the same thing you gotta take in that consideration when you try and increase the intake of food, right? That kind of caloric consumption of food. It's cool. You say you're a person at 1,400, cool. Let's work up to 1,600, right? Do that for a week. If you've been consistent, you feel good. You'll see, I can use a scale 1 time a week to help gauge if your body is fluctuating big enough. If you only saw yourself only gaining maybe 0 to 1 pound, cool. Increase your calories again up to 1,800, right? And so this might take you, 8 to 10 weeks to do so, right? To slowly get yourself back up to your maintenance. But at the same time, you're gonna be noticing you're gonna be feeling way more different while you consume more food than as opposed to what you were doing before. And at the same time, you're not gonna be looking at it as oh, that's a lot of food now. You'll be like, man, you're eating this much, you're eating 2,600 calories worth of food, and you're just down now. You're not even thinking twice about oh, this is way too much food here. So yeah, you're not even thinking twice about 2,600 is a lot of food because you already built yourself up to it. Now you're just eating on a daily basis where it's yeah, it's just cakewalk. It's just awesome. And it's cool. So you keep yourself there for, like I said, however long you need to. to again make sure you prime your body to get used to that caloric intake, right? And then when you're getting ready for an event or something along those lines, then it's like, cool, you can put yourself in a deficit, put yourself in a cut, do that for about 2 or 3 months, slowly just taper down, and then you just watch the magic happen after that. So you do those 2 things, right? And then like again, on top, you're making sure you come in the gym. Now this is where the issue is when people come in the gym. It's like, yeah, I go to the gym, I work out, but I don't see results. Well, 2 questions you gotta answer for yourself, right? 1, are you ready to train hard as you possibly can? Are you training hard as fuck to the point where you're like pushing almost, every rep, not to failure, but every set is getting close to that failure position where it's like, cool, you feel like you could have done like 1 or 2 more, but like you need it for the next set. It's like, good. That means you're pushing yourself, right? You make sure you're pumping the muscles. And you're making sure you're getting that contraction as your form and technique good, right? So that's the first question you gotta answer. Secondly, are you training with intensity, right? Are you just coming in here, just doing the reps, take a 5-minute break, be on your phone, do the next set, again, 5-minute break, be on your phone, and then, you do like 2 or 3 exercises and that's it, you're done, right? Or are you coming here with intensity, right? Are you coming here with a plan and a purpose, to come in, get your workout in, and leave out that, right? Like you have a plan where the workout you're doing, the program, the sets, the reps, how much rest time you need, and the intensity you need to bring into it. Might have to see a little bit too low here. So once you answer those 2 questions of what you need to do for your workout, and if you're honest and true with yourself to the point where like, yeah, you're right, you haven't been doing that shit, you haven't been really pushing yourself in the gym, you haven't been really training close to failure, and you really haven't been training with intensity and with the purpose. That's all right, cool. That's a good start. Then what you just need to do is find yourself again that scheduled time that you can say, cool, I'm gonna hit the gym 3 times a week at this time. Cool, do that. Do it with the purpose, do it with intention, do it with intensity. Just get yourself consistent for 2 or 3 months. Then it's like once you feel like you get comfortable, you got a good routine, you got a good schedule. Then it's like, all right, cool, let me take it up a notch. Maybe let me get a desired program, right? Let me get a more specific program that's going to tailor to my goals and to what I want to conquer, right? Then, because you already get the intensity in place, that program is just going to be a +1 on top of it. And you're going to see bigger changes because, again, you already have the sets, the reps, the exercise you got planned for that day, the rest times, all those things like that. And now all you have to do is just put your energy and focus into that specific program for that day to get the most out of it. And again, 45 to 60 minutes, you're good to go. All right, we got one more set here. Oh, my nostrils. Cool, once you answer those 2 questions, once you got yourself a routine and you be consistent coming to the gym with intention, with intensity, with a purpose. All right, cool. Now we'll move on to getting your steps in, right? If you're a person that's only been average around like 2 to 4K steps, again, same thing as increasing your caloric intake, same thing as you're working out. increase it by small portions, right? And you maybe don't have to like look at it this way. There's two different ways you can look at it. You can look at it where it was like, if you're a person that's only like, you know, parking and it's close to the grocery store entrance, then park a little bit further away. You'll get extra steps without really realizing, right? That's one thing. Or like taking the stairs instead of taking the elevator or the escalators, right? That's another way you can get additional steps without even thinking about it. Secondly, the other option is like, cool, if you track your steps, so you know you've been getting averaging like 2,500. Cool, maybe increase it by 250 to 500, right? Depending on, you know, if that's overwhelming for you to get 500, you know, additional for that week or just for that day. And it's like, all right, cool, start with 250, right? Start small. Again, it doesn't have to be big. You just gotta start something with as little as gonna create W's for you, and that you can keep stacking W's as time goes on. Last set here. Oh, shit. Fuck. Woo. That was it for sets. Move on to dips. Three sets of 10 here. This time we got weighted. Before we've been doing as many reps as possible. We'll add some weight this time. But yeah, that's how you can go about your steps. You know, again, you got two pathways. You want to track it. If you don't, yeah, so be it. But it's always, again, it's always good to know by tracking, because it gives you a better idea, and then it gives you a better source of, you know, I blanked out. It gives you a better idea. Because I saw something happen out there. It gives you a better idea of like how many steps you need, how many steps you need to improve, all those things like that, right? So that's how you look at it. I'm trying to think. Weird. I'm the only one that's working out in this gym right now because we don't open for another couple hours. So it's just me only right now. But you know, cool. You get the steps in track. All right, moving on to the next thing, hydration, right? Like I said earlier, make sure you get half your body weight in ounces. So I'll give you your person that weighs, you know, 200, but again, you need 180 pounds to be lean. Cool. You take 200 divided by 2 against 100. So you need 100 ounces of water a day to make sure you hydrate, right? Again, and at the same time, you want to make sure you intake about 3 to 5 grams of salt with drinking that water. Again, this helps you keep your body more hydrated, but also too, this helps you keep your body more function, especially when it comes to your workouts. If you try and get a pump, you try and get vascularity, that's definitely going to help you a lot too. Man, I wish this chain was longer. But there's really nothing more else to water, as simple as that, or hydration. We got one more here. All right, we move on to last but not least, the final principle, right? And that is, you know, measuring stress and recovery. For recovery, The biggest part that you're fucking up is sleeping. You want to make sure you're getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, but good quality sleep. But with that, you want to make sure you got a consistent schedule with it too, right? You go to bed at the same time, close to it, and you wake up around the same time. Again, it's going to trick your body. It's going to tell your body, all right, this is the schedule we're on, and that is good. Your body's going to get used to it. Whereas, like, cool, it's time for bed, it's time to wake up. You're on and rocking and rolling, and you're getting that good amount of sleep. Now with stress, again, depending on your lifestyle, depending how your life is, you're going to have to, navigate and work around what you got, right? But find ways to reduce your stress, because trust me, I've been there. I've been to where my body had been like at its peak of stress. And the difference I'm feeling now, than opposed to what I was feeling like 6 months ago, way different. So it's like you don't understand how much stress is taking a toll on your body until you try to find ways to reduce it and try to find ways to calm it down. And I tell you what, once you get that feeling, you're gonna be like, yeah, fuck that stress. Like, you're gonna do everything in your power to not try to gain that stress back. Now again, there's things that are out of our control, but for the most part, if you can do ways to, reduce it, hey, by all means do so. Because like I said, you'll be feeling way different without having to worry about that much stress inside your body. Shit. Alright. It's enough dipping. On to flying. Whew. All right, last chest exercise. Incline flies, 4x25 here. And we got triceps. And we got pump reveal. And that's it. So it's like, cool. You find ways to get a consistent sleep schedule going. That's like the same thing too with your sleep, right? You treat it as like, you work, and you treat it as like you go, those days you work out, right? It's like, cool, you want to be in bed by 10, fall asleep by 10:30, wake up at like 5:30, 6. It's like, cool, you're blocking that time out. It's like, you have nothing going on past 9:30, 10, like 9, 9:30, because your bedtime's around that time, or 10, 10:30. It's like, cool, make that happen. So let's say you got all those things in place, right? It's like, cool, you're already reflecting on what you need to do. You already have an idea of what you need to do. You already understand the principles, each one to, the basics of what you need to do and things like that, and you're rocking and rolling. But at the end of it all, if you're listening to advice, you're gonna apply it, you gotta have that mentality that nobody's gonna save you and nobody's coming to save you. You gotta have that mentality, like, yeah, because, I'm giving you, like, these tips, these advices on how to, be successful in your fitness journey in 2025. Again, I could be saying all this shit, I could be spilling all this shit for you, but at the end of the day, the only person you're gonna be saving is yourself. It's not gonna be me, and it's not gonna be anybody else. It's gonna be you and only you. Oh, man, pump is real. But yeah, again, no one's gonna save you. You gotta do this shit on your own. Again, like, cool, if you don't understand it, the shit, or you need extra help, get the extra help. There's no shame into it. There's no shame in getting the extra help for you. Have a better understanding how your body works. Have a better understanding how the food works. A better understanding how to track your calories, your macros, your steps, your workouts, how to plan around those things. You know, have a better understanding the hydration portion. Understand about, like, you know, managing stress, find good recovery purposes. And at the end, like, you go deeper, planning around, like, indulging, all those things like that, right? If you're still struggling and you just want to exceed faster, get the extra help you need. Like, don't be afraid to. And look at it as like as investment, right? It's not expense, it's investment. Because the only expense you're doing is the actions you're not taking right now, is the actions you're not doing. That's the expenses causing you, and that's something you just don't look at. And that's something that adds up every single day, is the actions that you don't take to get yourself where you need to be. That's the expense you're paying. So, like I said, don't be afraid of help, you know. Get the extra help again. If you want to speed up the process, you know, speed up to the way you want to go, by all means do so and things like that, right? Shit, even for me, I hire people for some of these things, right? Sometimes when, like, especially for, like, if I do bodybuilding, I hire a bodybuilding coach because there's some shit I don't know that they do, things that, but I'm always willing to learn, and I'm always willing to grow by having that mentor, right? By having that, you know, second eye to help me better understand, help me navigate, to help me learn more things about certain things, right? So, because I know for myself, it's like, for me, I'll be just doing dumb shit if I was to do it by myself. And I tried doing it before. I'll explain to you after this. Because when I went to do my first bodybuilding show, you know, I went to do it just by myself. So, you know, I started dialing in my nutrition. I started dialing in what I needed to do. And it was working to the most part, right? Once I figured out what weight cap I had to need to be, I had like a sense of purpose, idea, what I need to do. So I probably started that back in, I'll say March or April. And the show wasn't until October. So I kept doing things, you know, I kept tracking my calories, tracking my foods, been doing all these things, right? You know, and on top of that, I had to go to a couple weddings. I had to go to a wedding and bachelor party. in that time span, right? So, I'm coaching myself. I'm doing everything myself, right? I get back from the show, from the trip, so, the wedding, and I figure out the actual true weight cap is a little bit different than what I was intending to be. So I was like 20 pounds out. And at this moment in time, I was 5 weeks from stepping on stage. So if you do the math, 20 pounds in 5 weeks, that's 4 pounds, per week that I had to lose. And at that point in time, I just didn't know what I really needed to do to get myself there, right? I didn't know if I had to do extra cardio. I didn't know how to slash my calories in half. I just didn't know how to go about that to lose the 4 pounds and, to get myself stage ready. That's enough flying. Then do some triceps and that's it. All right, 4 sets of 20 here, and that'll be a wrap. So yeah, I had to lose 20 pounds in 5 weeks. And then, so I hired a coach. I hired a bodybuilding coach to help me get myself there. And in those 5 weeks, I did get myself there. But again, what I learned is like, during those 5 weeks, I was feeling miserable. Like, yeah, even if shit was working, trying to slash my calories, trying to like do extra cardio. I noticed my energy levels were tanking. I noticed my strength was decreasing a little bit. And it just wasn't a fun journey. So the reason I'm saying this is like, cause like for how naive I was gonna go into, right, trying to do my first show of, doing a bodybuilding show, right, where I didn't really have much knowledge in nutrition. I didn't have really much knowledge in posing, right, and I didn't have really much knowledge into like, cool. So again, if you know anything about bodybuilding, it's like different stages, right? You got the off season, you got the in season, you got the preseason, right? And you got prep season, right? So it's like when you're in season, that's when your cut technically starts, right? Most of the time, they say it starts within like 20, 24 weeks. And then you go into prep. Prep is way different than what you're doing, leading up to and things like that. So it's different seasons, and I just didn't have the knowledge for it. And the main point of the story I'm telling you is no one's gonna give a shit if you did it by yourself or you did it with people. At the end of the day, what people are gonna give a shit the most about is that, one, you change, two, you got the physique that no one think you could have gotten, or no one ever thought to see you in. And that's what people are gonna be thinking about more than versus asking how you did, what you did, all those things. Like, yeah, that's sometimes it's a bonus, but people are gonna be looking more at what they see right now versus what, you know, all like, you know, behind the scenes, right? You hire somebody, you going through the trenches, you know, you put in the extra work that no one's seeing, all those things like that. So the point is, like, no one's gonna give a shit if you do this by yourself, right? And that's kind of like the mistake I did when I was getting ready for my first bodybuilding show that almost cost me to not come in first place in that show. And that's something like, you know, with your journey, it's like, if you want to get ahead of the game, you want to get ahead of, you know, 99% of people who are still struggling, who are going to be probably in the same place this year as they were last year, and say, hey, by all means, go for it. Because again, at the end of the day, no one's giving a shit on how you did, what you did. If you hire somebody, what is going to give a shit is like the way you look right now at that moment in time. So that's my advice to you on that. And that's what also the thing is, nobody's really coming to save you, right? Like, yes, even though you do hire someone, at the end of the day, you still got to put in the work. You still got to make things happen. You still got to be in the trenches to get yourself where you want to be. Yes, because you have accountability, you have guidance. At the same time, no one's going to come and save you, and no one's going to do the work for you and things like that. Oh, we got one more here. And there's nothing wrong. There's no feeling guilty. There's no feeling shame for hiring someone, right? I don't know where we get this in our mind or this notion as we feel guilty about it. There's nothing. More than anything, it creates you that community, it creates you that circle, and it creates you a different mentality of having someone who's been through the trenches, who's been through trials and tribulations, who kind of knows exactly where you've been, and that knows, like, hey, like, you know, you can trust, and that person can guide you to the direction you're leaning to, right? So it's like the same thing too, right? When we go in school, you know, we never thought about that as kids. We never thought about, yeah, of course, at the same time, we always thought about like feeling guilty, maybe asking the wrong questions, maybe asking stupid questions, or trying to seek answers, or what we feel like we could find on our own. But at the same time, that's what they were there for, right? The teachers, they're there to help you solve your problems, right? They're there to help answer any questions you have, you know, regards to the subject, the topic, whatever that case is, right, for that classroom. So it's the same thing too. It's like, treat it that way, but again, don't have that guilt, don't have that shame. You know, switch that mentality. It's like, yeah, again, make that as a purpose, right? You know, have a different purpose when it comes to like you hire someone. It's like, yeah, this purpose is going to be the position where this person can give me the results, and this person can help me achieve what I'm willing to, you know, acquire for that event, the summer, whatever the case is, right? All right, let's go check the pump. This might be a little struggle here. Whew. Wasn't as much struggle as this time, but let me move up a little bit closer, I think. I don't like it's kind of hard sometimes in here because it's like horizontal. We'll do it right here. I forget that hoodie. Well, look at that. Striations, vascularity. It's coming in too. So we're still eating 4,000 calories.
Let's go ahead, let's do food poses. Oh, man, that's how having more food does you justice here. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, these striations, hey, look at that. Yeah. One last time, most muscular. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, we keep rocking and rolling. Your shit's gonna be looking scary. And at the end of the day, this shit's all natural, baby. This shit has been in progress for 4 fucking years plus right now. So like I said, when you do 6 principles, again, it's all from what I talked about earlier, right? It's all trials and tribulations. It's all like following the 6 principles, doing what I need to do, right? 10,000 steps, coming here 5 times a week, pushing myself, intensity, purpose, eating with intention, eating with the purpose, right? Doing these things, knowing the foods, know how much protein, calories I do, all these things like that, right? At the end of the day, this is the results you're gonna get, right? And as you see, I'm able to enjoy the challenges. I'm able to enjoy myself. I'm able to still look the way I do here and things like that. By, again, applying the 6 principles, again, breaking that belief, that phenomenon, that you don't have to necessarily be in calorie deficit. But guys, that's it. Happy New Year to you. Hope you have a blessed, safe New Year. Again, tomorrow's a rest day, so no workout. Friday, we'll come back, hit some shoulders. We'll see how the pump is for the shoulders and rock and roll and finish out this phase strong here. Other than that, you guys have a blessed day. Be safe.